Steve, I've read you talk about your personal memories of Terry Fox's run. I wonder if you can take me back to your own childhood and what original impression it made on you.
You know, for me, I was 6 years old in 1980, and I woke up every day that summer, turned on the TV to see where Terry was, you know, see what part of our country he was in, and watch him, you know, run across our country. And I was, you know, mesmerized by him. And, you know, he asked a lot of questions of a 6-year-old and taught me a lot, you know, what is cancer, what is terminal illness, what is charity, what is giving, what is community. You know, I feel, you know, as a 6-year-old, I felt like he was my big brother. You know, I felt like I knew him.
I grew up, I suppose, as an 8-year-old. I do remember a kind of a vague assembly once a teacher gave on Terry Fox in England. But, you know, it was such a distant memory. But seeing Doug Copeland's book at Steve's house and reading through it, you know, after half an hour, I was welling up. It really hit me. And, you know, we got talking from there. And when the ESPN gave us the opportunity to pitch an idea on an athlete, we talked about various athletes, but none of them really kind of seemed to have the draw to us that Terry Fox did.
Israel, once this idea was in place, do a film about Terry Fox, tell me how it evolved, how you set out figuring out what is the story going to be and pulling it together.
I mean, he's obviously a hero, and everybody knows him as a hero, and it's 30 years on. How can we tell this story in a way that almost goes on that journey with Terry? That was our intention. There's such a contrast between Terry, as you see him in that footage, you know, his public persona, and then Terry's private side, his diaries and his reflections on his insecurities. Was he going to make it? Was he going to let everybody down? I mean, that's incredibly touching, you know, it was for us at least, and that's really that was the essence of what we wanted to try and convey.
Can you tell us about the experiences of doing these interviews with his family and friends? Because it impressed me how the quality of their memories, they've given lots of interviews before, 30 years have gone by, but they really had a freshness about them.
Well, I don't think anybody's been interviewed as often as old Trusty here. So he knows a thing or two about, you know, putting on a little performance for the camera. And
you know, I think, you know, for me it was just really honest. You know, I like I told you before how I'd lived this, you know, so to be able to sit down with his family was, first of all, a pleasure because of what he means to me. So it was a really great personal experience to be able to talk to these people and learn more and feel closer to him because of his importance to my life and to us as Canadians. And you know, I also felt like I didn't really want to go in there with a list of questions. You know, I felt like this is something that had to be conversational because I didn't want there to be boundaries on where I took it and get lost in where I was. And so I really wanted to just have a conversation with them and let it go where it goes.
Steve, for you, what is it like, you know, going from one profession where you're a total master of to another profession where you're a newcomer?
You know, people think it's such a departure going from basketball to filmmaking, but for me, I've stuck more with the similarities. You know, the collaborative nature, the creativity, the teamwork, having an intention and working together to articulate that every day. You know, that's what we do every day as a basketball team. So for me, I'm drawn to those same characteristics.
You talk about Terry being such a symbol for Canadians, and I wonder in your travels if you find him to be lesser well-known outside of Canada and how much that was figuring in your approach to this film.
You know, relative to what he actually did and his place in our cultural fabric, it's basically unknown elsewhere in some respects. So, you know, I think that also is kind of very Canadian. You know, we don't necessarily. This is getting very ethno-Canadian right now, but you know, we don't necessarily, you know, thump our chests about it, and I think, again, that's why he's so big to us and maybe not so big elsewhere.
As I said, you are the first audience in the world to see this. We're so proud to present it. We hope that we get these filmmakers back for their future work. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you to Steve Nash and Ezra Holland.